how things work a bit. Okay, so here's what we got. Uh, the first thing I think in deciding how to do an investment is you should probably know where you want to distribute it eventually. Okay, and you're completely correct. You have the right instincts. If you take a look right now, let's say at Booking.com, Traveloka, and then let's say I don't know Agoda, and then Airbnb. Okay, so go ahead and take a look at these three first, right? So Booking, let's change. This is Google Trends, by the way. So this is public data that you and you can follow me on any of this particular information as I do it. This is all public. Okay, so all this information, and I'm just going to set the setting to what is the relative search volume of these three keywords worldwide from 2004 until now. Okay, so Booking.com, Traveloka, and Agoda. All right, so you can kind of see that Agoda rose a little bit. It dipped down during the pandemic and then it came back up, right? Booking.com is relatively the winner amongst these three. Traveloka is, of course, the smallest one because it's mostly a domestic presence, and Agoda is bigger. Booking.com has one of the larger presences. But we're here not to talk about that. We're also here to talk about Airbnb. Once you see Airbnb, you see that it's gigantic compared to the if you want to know why, it's simply because Airbnb offers much better service to its guests and also its the people who provide property. So as a guest on Airbnb, you tend these particular protections, which is unique in terms of an online experience, right? It gets you booking protection, check-in guarantee, get what you book guarantee, 24-hour safety line. The others do. What you'll also see for Airbnb is that they also have coverage if you put a property there as well. So that looks a little bit like this. So there's $1 million liability insurance, $1 million damage protection. Liability is a big deal in Indonesia. Guess if they get hurt, that's kind of like on themselves. Other countries that could be more of an issue. But the $1 million damage protection is extremely good to have, especially since you're paying anyway. So when there's damage in a property, I've hosted uh, probably 50,000 Airbnb guests by now, right? And we've used this many times. Not too many times. Maybe out of that, maybe just about a dozen times, 12 times. And Airbnb to pay the largest damage was about $10,000 for some expensive furniture in a beachfront villa. So that is really good. Okay, so distribution probably would be best just looking at this graph on Airbnb. So your instincts are correct. Airbnb is the way to go. So if you do go on Airbnb, then you should probably understand how that platform works. So in fairness, Airbnb is anti-hotel. So you're looking to get a unique experience like you just mentioned for your guests. So you can have some inspiration up here on the very top of this particular list for what particular design you want to go for, right? So let me put this over here and let me draw on this particular diagram here. So you can go for, let's say, OMG properties. OMG is oh my God properties. These can be like just crazy designs, very cool things. You can go for a tiny home, which I definitely recommend because a tiny home is very successful. It takes a very little, and it's getting more and more popular also because people want to have something that's not quite a villa because a villa, for the most part, is for a sort of holiday stay. They want a place that they can cook, a place that they can work, a place that they can study, right? Um, so that incorporates a tropical lifestyle. So tiny homes are pretty popular. Uh, oh, perfect. Yes, correct. So if you take a look at one of my friends, her name is Alejandra. She studied at the same university that I did, and I stayed in her Airbnb once upon a time. She's actually had a book written about tropical architecture. She started a tiny home on Airbnb. Actually, let me see if I can find it. And she's doing very well with it. She's featured in the New York Times. She's also yeah, she's actually pretty clever architect. Let me see if I can find her listing to be able to see it. I think it's here, Magnolia in Bali. Let me see if I can find her Airbnb projects. Okay, I might not be able to find it. Wait. I think it was not Passiflora. I think it was this one, Tiny Tall House. So Alejandra was one of the very first architects in Bali to build a tiny house. This gets rented, I think, easily for over $3,000 a month for short-term rentals, right? So that's pretty significant, 45 million about. And the cost is probably a fifth of what a traditional villa would typically cost. So as you just have discovered correctly, if you pair the right product to the right platform, you're likely to do very, very well, okay, in terms of that. So that's that. Okay, so that's, I think, incredibly inspirational too, as well for us. Let me just this is a little bit new for myself, right? I'm just gonna check on Google Trends for what I'm gonna look for remote work Bali, and I have a theory that this is a very popular search term in the next few. Okay, so it's climbing up a little bit, right? Remote work. I guess it's mostly coming from the United States. Maybe digital nomad Bali. Let's see what we get there, and let's compare. Oh, okay, that's good. So there's yeah, digital nomadism is really, really interesting new marketplace because companies, well, like Airbnb, you can work from anywhere. They've created a policy um, to allow their employees to work and live anywhere now. So you can imagine if you're earning, let's say, a salary here in San Francisco and you're spending it in Indonesia, that's a pretty good deal. You can live really well. And when more and more people have that, then you can probably see also the rents go up as well over time. So that's a positive direction to go into. Okay, so now I get to the part where sort of Bukit Vista comes in. I'm of course a little bit biased to Airbnb. I was the country manager of Airbnb for Indonesia. I was, yeah. So that's where I worked in 2013 to 2014, and so after I worked at Airbnb, I gained specific knowledge about how that company works and its growth trajectory and some of the sort of revolutionary new technologies that they were putting in. I'll just give you a quick look, like why Airbnb also is doing fairly well. So if you take a look at the Airbnb app, it looks like this, right? I'm sure you've used it before, but this is the kind of experience you get on it. It's very storytelling. It's lots of visuals. It's very pleasing. Maybe like this up here can be a good example, right? But if you compare it to let's say the Booking.com app, you'll probably get a feeling that it's a little bit different, right? It's much more clunky. It tends to have it's much more transactional, less aspirational, right? So it's just kind of trying to get you to like buy a stock. But Airbnb understood really early on that travel was about aspirations and travel was about getting this delightful experience. And they do two parts really well. The algorithm, which kind of zeroes in using the shortest method to get you to find something you're looking for. And the second is the user experience, which is the design and the feel of the application. Okay, so this is where Boogie Vista comes in. During my 10 years after Airbnb or so, what we've developed is we have that part, right? So we've managed to capture tons of data. Here's some of the data that we capture just every day. And this allows us to kind of look across all the bookings that we do to understand what's going on inside the platform, right? So we have data looking at the booking pace, we have data looking at what guests are doing, we understand everything from just about everything almost, right? Numbers. This is all coming in from all the bookings that we're taking. And let me show you kind of like what that looks like. So we have we're pretty special on Airbnb because we do a lot of the business for the platform. So they've given us actually a special account. I'm going to try to show you that account here. It's a little bit tricky, but okay, here it is. Wait, let me move this over here. Okay, so we have a special hosting dashboard that has been purpose-built for our needs. This is just the emails that we get on a typical day, right? Or just in a few hours. So we get, yeah, it's flooding, right? It's like basically hundreds and hundreds. I think there's 10,000 in this box so far. From just, yeah, yeah, it's really good. It's really good business. So. Um, this is like what it looks like on our typical dashboards. I spend a few hours every day just inspecting this, but I guess this is where the money comes in, right? Reservation concern, reservation. You can see the time period. This is about every 2 minutes, right? We're getting a booking. So we've managed to. Mostly Bali and Jogja, but Bali is the big side. Bali is about 90% of our business. Jogja's probably less than 10% of our business now. So we have all this data, and then this data goes to different teams. So I'll show you sort of. Oh, we've also learned how to work remote, which is pretty amazing. Our entire company is remote work. I'll show you what the company looks like right now. Okay, I don't know if you can see that dashboard over on the left, but this is a snapshot of our company that's working today. We're all available on this application. It's called Discord. So this allows us to just kind of coordinate everything remotely here, and you can see the names and everybody, and that's kind of like our remote structure. But what do these people do? So we have the strongest selling point of Bukit Vista is we do revenue management. We're able to optimize your position on Airbnb for the highest ranking and in return the highest revenue. We have 10 years of experience, so we avoid a lot of the pitfalls that early investors make, like focusing on, oh, one mistake is focusing on pricing rather than on revenue, because if you focus too much on, I need to get $200 a night or whatever, you might lose a lot of calendar days that could be actually sold and without revenue opportunities. So our team, there's 6 people aided by artificial intelligence and machine learning, goes through and they inspect each particular property and they make pricing decisions. So they gather together the facts about what's going on from our data visualizations. They examine the calendar and then they make a pricing decision for what should happen. And we take a look at what's happened and we make new pricing decisions every week. So this trains the system to become better and better at adapting pricing, and this allows us to achieve what generally is leading revenue for each of our properties throughout the area. So they're able to evolve fast that way. That's good because then that goes over to, let's say, our operations team, which we keep busy. Our operations team is also enabled using really good tools to understand essentially all the reservations and all the check-ins that happen. So, for example, let's say today is, I think, the 20th in Indonesia. So we can just take a quick look on the check-ins happening today. And so it's, okay, apply the filter. Um, okay, that's a little bit, oh, right, that's a little bit, needs to set up a little bit this way. So we can see essentially who are all the guests checking in, and oh, this seems to be select. Oh, okay. I have a filter set here, so I'm going to reset that and then reapply. That should give us my full check-in list. Okay. So our operations team then, like that's normal, right? So you can see we have 19 check-ins in Bingen, um, which is quite a lot. 38 in Uluwatu, 38 in Nusa Penida, 6 in Padang Padang, 27 in Canggu, only 1 in Seminyak today, 5 in Ubud, 4 in Jogja, and 1 in Jimbaran, 2 in Kintamani, and 1 in Nusa Dua. So to answer your question, which particular areas are the busiest, the best answer is Penida, Uluwatu, and Canggu. Those are typically where the most amount of activity is for the current moment. For the current moment. Airbnb is extremely good at data science. And data science, what I've noticed what they can do is that they can make locations a little bit more independent. Okay. So what does that mean? On a typical platform like Booking.com or Traveloka, the selection of properties that you will see tend to be aggregated around areas that are already been discovered to be very popular. Okay, so like Kuta Seminyak, Nusa Dua, Champik. But because of the way Airbnb works and I think their sophistication at essentially helping guests identify new areas and new experiences, they can do things like this. So here's a new Airbnb that we will be taking over very soon for a gentleman named Krishna. I just booked one just yesterday, in fact. He's located in the middle of nowhere. This is the middle of nowhere. It's in Sidaman. He's doing very well. He's getting about $400 a night. It's fully booked. There's no space on his calendar. Yeah, it really depends. It really depends on if you get viral, I think, right? So if you do get viral, and tree houses, you have to remember on Airbnb, tree houses are very, very where are they? Yeah, limited supply, and also it's very hard for people to compete with you if you have a treehouse, and they are a perfect product market fit. People go specifically on Airbnb to specifically look for tree houses, and these are some of the tree houses that you see, right, on Airbnb. You can go to any particular tree house and you can see the number of reviews, right? It's 268 reviews, and that particular one might have been set up at I don't know if he's consistently getting $400 or not, but I mean, he is taking it down right now, but yeah, typically you can get 400 reviews is probably three times the number of bookings, right? Oh, actually, this is closer to 500 reviews that you see here up on the corner, 497. So the typical ratio is about 1 in 3. So you'll get three times as many bookings as you get reviews. So you can think about that as, yeah, it's quite significant. So let's say yeah, yeah. This lady has probably gotten 1,500 bookings so far. So 1,500 bookings multiplied by the typical length of stay is 3 days, and then let's say she sold it for 170. But let's say 170. So you're talking about almost $700,000, right, of income. Let's see how long this lady has been around. $700,000 since 2018. So that's a pretty good return. Yeah, about 150,000 a year. This is of course in Canada, British Columbia, so the rates are slightly higher. Typically in North America, there's more regulations and more rules, so the supply doesn't ever grow as quickly as it does in Asia. So you can attain higher rates more sustainably. Whereas in Indonesia, anybody can start building, as you know as well. Okay, so that's a little bit about sort of the benefits of Airbnb as a platform. You're not really constrained to any location. You can be creative with your location as long as your location has inherent value. Airbnb will find somebody in this big, big world that will find value in exploring that particular location. And the kind of guests you get on Airbnb are typically a bit younger, millennial, Gen Z, looking for adventure, looking for experience first. So that's that. Let's see. Let me stop for questions actually at this point. Do you have any questions or anything else I can help explain? Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty simple. Yeah, we do have that information. Um, it's a little bit like this, Tasha. So whatever you build, you start getting, if that makes any sense, right? You build a villa, you'll get families. You build a guest house, you'll get small groups and couples and people like that. So I would say in general, you probably will see this. This is what I typically see. Okay, let's take a look at Bali right here. So, what do we see in this particular region? Okay, let's say, for example, you're looking in the Bukit area, right? So the composition of the guests really depends on a few things. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Most people come here to this area for surf. That seems to be the unique selling point here. Most people come over here for resorts. That's probably not your market. So unless you plan on building a beachfront villa and spending a lot on land and something very luxurious, you're probably better off somewhere maybe in, let's say, probably this region back here. Okay. Um, your rates are essentially you're aiming for. Let me kind of draw out two different areas, right? So the coastline is in red. This other circle is in blue, and then this area back here, I would say, is probably your green area. Okay, and the difference between each area is this. This area is probably. Oh, let me use a different color here. Maybe I'll use white. Oh, can you see my iPad and the illustration clearly? Okay, great, great, great. So, yeah, I love drawing. Actually, I just got this recently, so it makes things far more clear. This line is your front line, and this is essentially your highest paying customers are going to be along this line here, right? Along this coastline here. The main reason is because of walking distance, right? So, right. If it's walking distance to the beach, then it's suitable for families, it's suitable for children, it's suitable for bringing an entire group that doesn't want to commute to the beach. And that's pretty understandable because on holidays, depending upon the athleticism or the condition of your family, having walking distance is something that's generally a crowd pleaser. And people are willing to pay a little bit more for that. Your second line over here, this blue line on the back, these tend to be more of like I would call them they wish they could get beachfront, right? So they sort of are still here for normal holidays and such, but they don't have the same budget as people who are kind of going as close to the ocean as possible. But they're probably going to use motorbikes to get around or walk. But what keeps them in these particular areas is generally amenities, right? There's restaurants, there's gyms, there's whatever, there's some sort of social infrastructure that keeps them there. So that part's that. Uh, Third line is this green area. These are your semi-residential, right? So semi-residential are people who are probably already going rent a motorbike long term. They're probably going to book something for 3 weeks to 6 weeks to full length of a visa term, right? And these people will be looking for deals though. So let's say, for example, let's call this X, right? This is like, let's say the base rate that you can get per night. You're probably going to get somewhere between 3 to 4x on the front line, and probably the Wish Beach area is probably 2 to 3x on the second line, and X would be the kind of like the semi-residential people. So that's the distribution generally for prices that I've seen. Um, Whether or not you're looking for families or couples, it doesn't really matter. You're looking for essentially a few things. You're looking for people with ultimately you're looking to accomplish this. This is called RevPAR. This is one of those complicated hotel terms. What I'd like to say is just intelligent way of understanding your revenue. So if you get, let's say, $200 a night, but then you have, let's say, 5 nights empty, or let's say you're looking at 5 nights, right? You get $200 on your first night, and then your next 4 nights are empty, right? Then it's like 200 by five, so you rev par at about $40 a night, right? You spend 100 a night, and you get all 5 nights, right? Then at 500, that divide by 100, so you're kind of doing better actually in that term, right? So your ultimate goal is to get a high rev par because then that takes into account seasonality, that takes into account like your empty nights, that takes into account everything. Your best regions are generally going to be, yeah, your best strategy for accomplishing a high RevPAR is to make yourself available to as many different groups as possible. So what do I mean by that? Families are typically going to travel during peak seasons because that's when the kids days and they all can go out. But then what do you low seasons? What's going to keep you going? Modularity is a really important concept. So like a transformer. If you have a complex be aggregated together to sell as a single unit for your peak season nights, that's great because these will get sold really early, okay, at high prices, and people will just book the entire thing. Let's say you had four cabins around a center pool, right? It will just a single four-bedroom villa, effectively. But then during seasons when you don't get family travel or group travel, then you can still operate it modularly as four separate units, you know, four different parties, right? That's the revenue going. So that's generally the recommendation that for free for essentially setting up a condition where you can kind of operate the best of both worlds there. Yeah, that's that. That's kind of like how I would explain the location such. This is the Bukit. There's a of course, if you go to a different area, there's a different strategy. Of course, Canggu tends to be fairly evergreen at this point because it's a self-functioning city now, which means that you have not just semi-residential, you have residential. So you have people who are staying there, and then because you have that, then the economics works in a slightly different way. But yeah, that's that. Okay, cool. Did you have any other questions, Tasha? Hmm. Oh, I'm happy you asked that. So, working with Bukit Vista is pretty simple. Oh, we give you an app too, by the way. I forgot to mention. So, when you sign on to be a partner, here's a demonstrate. Oh, here's our app right here. Sorry, let me. I don't know why I can't. Oh, well, it's right here. Let me move it to here. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. So you get this application when you sign up to be a partner. I think this is one of our guest houses that I just recently took a look at. Wait, let me change it to something more aspirational. Let's change it to one of our beautiful bamboo houses. Yeah, Sunrise House over here. Okay, good. It's been changed. Let me go to BV Go. I'll close that and then reopen it. So a lot of our things are automated right now. Ah, there it is. That's one of our beauties. That's a bamboo house in Abiyasamal in Ubud. Okay, so this is pretty much how you would see things as an owner, right? All your reviews come directly to you, so you can understand essentially what we do and what's going on, right, with your property. Your booking information at any given point, you just take a look at this, and you'll understand what your next guests are. You'll be able to see if the guest journey has begun. You'll be able to see what the reservation information is, the booking value. All these particulars are located in the booking tab. So this app we offer free as part of our service, right? So that's all there. Finance is probably one of the more important parts that our owners really enjoy looking at. So it shows you essentially where the bookings are coming from, what is the Book Vista share, what is the owner share, and if you need to understand any transaction at all, you can open this at any given time, and it gives you all the information about all the particulars. Notifications come in on a feed whenever there's a booking or there's an activity from the Book Vista host side. It will show as this, and of course you have your profile, which you can make it and edit it to your liking. Okay. Our terms and conditions are listed on the website, so you can go to bookivista.com and you can select a package that's right for you. So we typically do, I think, three packages at this point. It's been a while since I've done any business development work myself. I usually team that helps us over here. I think they're located in one of these groups over on the left. But yeah, the where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There's 15, 20, and a full board package. For essentially, if you want us to do the entire thing, we can do it. I think it's typically about 25 to 30%, right, of the different parts. on top of the OTA. So anyways, the most frequent questions that people ask, we put right here. If any of those questions are listed here, you can take a read. If not, I'll be happy to also explain any things to you. We're constantly trying to make this process easier for our partners as well to understand the vital information and some of the different aspects. We also have, I think, a YouTube channel if you want to watch that. And there's some away for free to people who want to. Actually, some of it's some of it's just our consultation meetings. Some of it's our thought leadership. Some of it's interviews with past partners, and some of it's how to actually manage a property. So that's all there too as well. But we really do know. I'd like to think that we really know what we're doing for the most part. It's fun work for myself. I've been doing it for a long time, so we've been able to improve year on year. And yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of what Bukit Vista does. Absolutely. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. 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 We can help you all along the entire journey if you'd like. So we don't do the let's say finding the land or architecture ourselves, but we actually work with what we call community experts. These are people that are trusted and that we've worked together with in the past. And these we can set you up with appointments for them. They've all survived the pandemic, right? So they're good businesses. And we have real estate agents, we have architects, we have our own in-house architect if you want to talk to them. But anytime you need any assistance, we trust these people. They've done business with us in the past. They've taken care of our customers, and we take no commissions for referring them. So you don't, pay any. It's not like we're giving them and taking a referral fee or anything like that. So we just refer them because actually, we refer them because they referred good customers to us too. That's essentially how we operate. So it's a little bit more of a Western sort of referral system. And yeah, we can help you get situated with, let's say, property agents, notaries, architects, interior designers, whatever you might need along the way to guide your journey to become an investor. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that's there's safety in essentially working with referral partners. That being said, it's like cars. Your mileage may vary. Sometimes, like we've worked with them and we've had successful experiences, but each engagement, I think, will depend upon the kind of relationship that each party has, right? But these are reputable brands. They have long histories here in Bali and they have hundreds of customers themselves. They've been around for a while, so we've decided to kind of focus with referring our partners to that. Yep, that's it. Sure, sure, absolutely. Come to me and ask any questions that you want anytime. If you want to book a consultation with any of our, I think it's already redundant at this point. I've already presented pretty much anything that our business development team would. My wife typically works on onboarding new partners along with her team over here as well. But if you have any further follow-up questions, don't be shy. We're friends already, so just reach out and I'll be happy to speak with you. Typically, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my partner community days. So I talk to new partners and I talk to existing partners. So any days of that, and I work on Indonesian time. So yeah, basically based on WITA, and yeah, that's use me as a resource to to understand better what the journey is for becoming a property investor in Bali. Mhm. You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. Let's see. If that's it, then I'll let you get back to your day, doing whatever you want to do. And sure. Absolutely, absolutely. Don't hesitate anytime. You have my Calendly. Book me on any slot that you see available. Here's the website. It's just bukitVista.com. And my mission is to positively transform uh, partners and guests and employees. So let me do my job. All right, fantastic. Okay, thank you, Tasha. All right, have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.